Welcome back. Today we're downwind foiling the bay. I'm on the paddle, and Ed's trying out a Parawing. We met up here in Popamora Beach. We loaded up the car and headed to the tip of Sandy Hook. We had a solid wind forecast, and the bumps were looking good. Steve is the newest downwind foil frother, and he can't get enough. Live wind report was even better than expected. 25 gusting 29. Steve is riding the Unifoil Evolution 205, and he let me borrow his Evolution 175. First feels on the new foil were good. The start of this run has surprising power, and the setup kept up easily. Steve popped up quickly and had a nice opening glide. Ed was demoing the FlySufer POW 2.5 meter Parawing, and it looked really helpful for getting out off the beach into the bigger bumps. Once he found a bump he liked, he depowered, packed it, and started to shred. I'm using the 75 centimeter aluminum mast with the short fuse and the Progression 14.5 tail. This is the exact setup I use with the Progression 170, so even with a new foil, everything felt very familiar. The first thing I noticed about the Evolution was how well it carried speed. Once I had speed, it maintained it easily. Ed always brings the stoke, so if he's on the bump behind you, you know it. I definitely liked how this foil held its power through the long turns. The tide was rushing out, opposing the wind, and the bumps were really starting to stand up. Once I fell, Ed was able to Parawing back and forth and stay in place, waiting for me to get up. This is Isaac. He skipped the scenic sandwalk and Parawing straight out from the other parking lot.
Yeah.
He's riding the 4 meter Maliko Parawing from BRM.
Yeah, dude.
This was the first time I saw the BRM in person, and I was amazed by how thin the fabric was. Ed was able to get some good upwind angles with his FlySufer, and he was able to catch up with me wherever I was.
Hell yeah. Peel back one more bump. There it is. Now I'm right behind you.
Wind against tide really is a cool sensation. It feels like you're hauling ass, but looks like you're barely moving. The 2.5 meter size looked very manageable for relaunching and depowering.
Yeah.
Right by the channel markers, the tide really starts ripping, and it makes these A-frames everywhere.
Yeah.
I flew both Parawings in the parking lot after the run, and I couldn't believe how much grunt the little 2.5 FlySufer had. Ed is on a 610 120 liter board with the code 1300S on, and he was popping up easily. Ed was saying when he packs the wing down, he likes to grab just the top lines, and that seems to keep them all more organized, making for a much easier relaunch.
Whoa, it's getting a little funky. All that current ripping out. It's like a river wave. Yeah. Look at that! Oh!
Ed was using a bike inner tube to wrap his paddle around his back. Since he was new to power ringing, he wanted to have a backup plan in case things went bad. It was so cool. After a nice long glide, he was able to throw the Parawing up, turn around, and head back out for more. Isaac comes from a kite surfing background, so he has real good handling skills with the Parawing. And he's starting to figure out the bump reading and get some nice glides. palms stay solid all the way in, so you can shred all the way to the beach. Ed's Parawing looks pretty well behaved. Seems to stay up in the right spot very well. Lap after lap, Ed was really racking up the miles. This is the first time I've seen the Parawing in action, and it sure does look like a useful tool. The weather was so nice we ended up doing 3 runs. I got up to 15 total miles, but Ed with all his zigzagging got up to 30 miles of foiling. Thanks for watching.